call this number back. I need $25 for this walk around sit down chair.
Production. Been around the block. Been
I think we
around
need
the
to maybe
block.
change that at some point. It's cool though. Welcome to episode 25 of Been Around the Block.
God, 25?
And Bradley Nemo Sparks joining you live. How's everybody doing tonight?
Great. You just froze. Or was that just me that seen that?
No.
I don't know. Did I freeze?
Yeah, bro. That new equipment is not doing you justice.
I think it's the Wi-Fi actually. So do I need to redo all that? I can do it again.
No, you're good. You were like, hey, did I freeze?
Yeah. No. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put my Wi-Fi card in my old Wi-Fi card in my new PC. That's the only thing that's different. Everything else is new, but it doesn't matter to Wi-Fi.
What's up, Megan?
Who we got?
We got
Somebody
Megan.
commenting. Oh, what's up?
Yeah.
Megan?
That's my wife, probably.
Hi.
No,
I
that's
don't
another
think that's
Megan.
your wife. Yeah,
No, my wife's name's Megan too, so
gotcha.
I didn't see it pop up.
There's another Megan.
There's
No,
your
there-
wife.
There you go.
There she is.
And then Megan said,
Megan's
"Megan's
a-
your wife."
The Megans are falling in. He called out Megan, so immediately I'm thinking that's my wife because that's the first person I sent the invite to. So
Well, it's funny.
Awesome.
Brooks.
He
First
froze
two other
again, y'all.
Megans, like they congregate. It's so weird. Did it do it again?
Oh God, did it
Motherfucker.
horrible, bro.
Motherfucker.
Oh man,
Oh,
Did you guys
hey,
hear anything I said?
let's start off. Okay, obviously we're going to get into Stephen's testimony about recovery, but let's start off with football. Did y'all's team win today?
Oh no.
Yes. Of course my
Who's-
team won.
Who's your team, Chris?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay, who they beat? Who did
One
Pittsburgh
second.
beat?
Hold on 1 second. I can tell you. Pittsburgh beat Denver. I forgot who they played for a second.
All right, we lost. I'm a 49ers fan. We lost. What about you, Brooks?
he's froze. Yeah, he's a deer in the headlights right now.
What's up, hi, Josty?
Talking about me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I keep freezing. It's great. It's exciting. Did you ask me?
All right. It's. I guess it's the autofocus.
Am I
bro.
here or not?
You're here. You're there now.
You might need to switch to your phone.
No, man. I ain't doing it.
Not after
I
you
just got a
dropped all
message
that-
from Megan too. She's probably telling me how bad it sucks. It's cracking me up. Okay, well, so it's good. At least we're getting some comedy out of this, so it's good. So is it the autofocus that's fucking with you?
Yeah, horribly.
Yeah. Okay. So
What's up, Jared?
So how much football did you watch today, Nemo?
None. I seen that my Niners were losing, and I just didn't even plug in.
Man,
Anyway,
I saw
so,
that
hey.
Kansas. Oh, go ahead.
You saw what?
I saw Kansas City barely won. Shout out Danny.
Yeah, you know he's gonna. Nah, I think he's at work. He ain't gonna comment. All right, so today, guys, we have Stephan Sharar with us. He's out of North Carolina, and he's a business owner, father. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. And he's also a recovering addict. How long do you have sober, Stephan?
20 years.
20 years. You got sober in 04?
Yep.
Oh, wow. What was you, a senior in high school?
No, I was already out of high school. I got out of. No, I was just getting out of the military in 04.
Okay.
Damn. So
He froze up again.
nothing.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I need a translator.
All right, bro.
That's all right.
well,
Hey, let's
there is no translation for mute.
let's go ahead and hop into it, okay?
Right on, right on. Yeah, so like he said, my name's Stephan Sharar. 39 years old, from Charlotte, North Carolina, originally. I live in Morganton, North Carolina now. Just to jump right into it, man, like I dropped out of high school when I was 16 and went to a military academy. I was very, very enthused about joining the military and went in delayed entry. That didn't work out for me, didn't pan out. I had some relatives die while I was still in AIT. I went AWOL to go to the funerals because they were going to tell me I couldn't go, and ended up getting out with a general discharge under other normal circumstances. Albeit, I'm a previous volunteer firefighter. I've seen a lot of crap, being a firefighter, especially with children and other things. And mental health's a big thing with me. It's a hard nut to crack. And I tried to self-medicate. I couldn't get no help nowhere. Didn't have no insurance, no family. So I started self-medicating with cocaine. 6-month binge, just hardcore at it. Like, didn't want to sleep, didn't want to dream, didn't want to think about life itself. I just wanted to float away, And luckily for me, and I do say luckily because I stand behind the fact, I landed myself in prison trying to supply my own habit by robbing, armed robbery charges, robbing stores and whatnot, just to supply my habit. Gave me 20 years, South Carolina Department of Corrections. And
You said South Carolina?
Yeah.
And at this time, your only addiction is cocaine, right?
That's it. Cocaine, I guess adrenaline.
Got you.
It's just trying to block out everything else, trying to fog it up so I don't have to think about it, and of course, now looking back, that was the worst decision I ever made. However, for me, it was the best decision I ever made because it landed me in prison where I was able to actually sit back and reflect on life itself. For 12 years, I did nothing but study. I got my associate's degree while I was in prison in project management and business administration. I had my business already, EIN. And
how old were you when you went in?
I was 20.
Okay, wow. And they hit you with a 20-year sentence.
That's correct.
Man.
First offense. Yeah, South Carolina don't like.
But I mean, it was armed robbery.
It was. And in South Carolina, there's no 3-strike law. There's a 2-strike law, and I had 2 armed robberies, so that was 2 strikes. So they could have given me life. So 20 years was the ultimate plea, and I took that. In 2017, right after I got my associate's degree, illegally. You got a question about that? Maybe.
I mean, go ahead.
No. So I went to what's known as a post-conviction relief hearing to try and get a time cut. And when I went in front of the judge, he was asking me, what have I learned since I've been in prison? And I told him, I said, well, can I speak freely in your courtroom? And he was like, sure, just don't use curse words and be nice, be polite. And I was like, all right, well, I said I'm not gonna hit. And I picked up the Bible. I said, I'm not gonna sit here and hold this Bible up and tell you I found God. I'm a diehard Christian. I'll never commit another crime again, because honestly, I don't know what life has in store for me. I could get out of here one day and make a left turn in my vehicle and accidentally strike somebody dead, and that's involuntary manslaughter by vehicle homicide. I don't know what's in store for me. Someone could try to take my life and I could defend it. I don't know what could happen. I said, but I will tell you this. And I slid a big ass file I had across the table, and I asked the bailiff to hand it to the judge. I said, look at this. And he's like, what is it? I said, just humor me. Look at the first page. And he opened it up and he was like, man, I already know what this is. And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, this is a business plan. I said, yes, sir, it is. That's my stay out of jail forever card. I'm gonna go work for myself. And I've got everything laid out. I already have my own EIN, everything situated for when I get home. He said, well, how do you do that? I said, well, you might look at my prison record and see I had cell phones and all this other, contraband and whatnot. And I wasn't on these cell phones, just on chat lines talking to these girls and whatnot. I was on Blackstone Career Institute getting my associate's degree in project management and business administration. And by doing so, I was helping educate people around me, other inmates that were getting out, because, what I did see over the period of 12 years that up to that point was that, these same faces kept popping up in the system. I see these same guys, they go home, come back, go home, come back. And I'm always like, yo, man, where's my shot at? And I used to ask these guys, I'd ask them, I'm like, yo, what happened? Tell me what happened. Why couldn't you get a job? Why couldn't you go get your license? Why couldn't you do this? And there was always the word can't in front of everything, or couldn't, and I'm like, well, man, I can't, never could, man. I would never, it don't make no sense to me. I said, so I started a program in prison called I Came with Financial Intelligence. And all the money that I made while I was working in prison industries, I bought entrepreneurship books, self-help books, all these different things. And I had floor to ceiling stacked books, and I would pass these books out to these guys while I was reading them. And we'd have a class every week to talk about what we had learned and how they were going to do what I'm doing now when they got out, because I didn't want to see these guys coming back in. I wanted to get out myself and be the example of how to do it. But there was only one way that was going to happen, and that was through educating myself. And the biggest education I ever got was to leave the uncontrollables alone, just control the controllable, and the biggest controllable I had was my education at that time, myself, because nobody, I say it in rhyme because I write music. I say it in poetry all the time. I say, my biggest enemy is my inner me. So once I control my inner me, I'm good, and that goes for any human out there in on the mental health spectrum, what I'm saying, as far as, choosing right from wrong and all this other things. You can control your surroundings. You can control who you talk to. You control who talks to you. You can tune out what you need to tune out, for my biggest thing, I knew that cocaine was my downfall. Cocaine is what landed me here. What could I do to get out of having to resort back to either cocaine or picking up a pistol to go make a paycheck? I knew I had to have a solid foundation before I could ever build upon it. And that's what I did. So when I told the judge all of this, he gave me 8 years off my sentence. I went home the following week. And the same judge actually called me back 2 years ago after I did a podcast with Don Blackwell and the Iconic Success Global Radio Network about my daughter's nonprofit, which I'll get into in a bit. But when I'd answered the phone, Judge McClendon was his name. And he said, you may not remember me, but it's Mr. McClendon. I said, Judge McClendon? He's like, yeah. I said, did I do something wrong? He's like, no, man. He said, I've been following you ever since I let you out. He said, I was so inspired by what you said in court. Nobody's ever said that to me before. He said, you must have thought about that long and hard. And he said, not only have you succeeded at and done what you said you were going to do, but you have went above and beyond that. Like what you're doing, dude. He said, I wish that every guy that I helped out by giving them a time cut would do the same thing. He said, keep leading by example, keep doing what you say you're going to do, because word and his sayings always stuck with me. He said, words without action are just words. They're just spoken words. That's all they are. And that always sticks with me. And I'm always talking about that. And it really helps me by helping others. And that helps my mental health. Like I go to the VA and do all that other mental health crap. And, my biggest success in staying on the path that I'm on is helping others, whether it's through business, friendships, relationships, whatever. So, I mean,
and I think of, in 12-step programs and stuff, that is what keeps a lot of us sober, is helping the next man, is telling our experience, and then them identifying with what we went, and them going, man, I did that, I'm just like that, and I can turn my life around too. And that goes for in the church, everything. It's like I'm starting to realize that I feel like that's what we're all put here for, is to be there And I mean, I think that's when we feel our most fulfilled purpose in life. It ain't money, it ain't your job, it ain't, your goals, you're being successful. It's like you come to find out that it's lifting that next brother or sister up who's down. And I mean,
That's right.
even though yours is different than, mine or Chris's or Brooks, it's still the same thing. You're helping people, you know, that are vets, or people like you said with mental issues. Did you ever get
Well, I
tempted
mean,
to do cocaine when you were in prison?
no,
No.
no. Where I first went, I was level 3 security, which is the highest security in the state. Where they had put me in like 24-hour lockdown because I went in violent, violent mindset. I was just bucking the system. I had 20 years to do. I had the fuck it mindset. And it just me quitting cold just like that. It really pushed me along the way, because the faster that my mind cleared, and I was able to actually sit down and think about this, and then I'm sitting here in a cell with a cellmate who's already been in here for 32 years with a life sentence. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. But on the path that I'm going to be that guy. So like I said, the biggest thing that ever happened to me was, and one of my roommates actually told me, and what he told me still sticks with me today. He'll never get out of prison. He told me, he said, "What's the use of having knowledge without the wisdom of knowing how to use it?"
Mm.
And it's really deep, and it goes into two phases, because we all know what knowledge is. It's to know. It's something that we know. And when we ask people what their definition of wisdom is, they say, well, it's this and this and this and this. Well, it's experience, and it's two types of experience. You have firsthand experience and secondary experience. Firsthand experience is when we put that drug up our nose or in our veins or whatever, when mama told you that the stove was hot and you still touched it anyway, and you got that burn and that blister and all this other stuff, and you had to go through the process of healing. And the same with getting over and recovering from the things that we put in our bodies that ain't supposed to be there. It's a very painful and it's a degradation of self. When you actually look at it, because you lowered yourself to that level. But the secondary experience, we can hear about it all day long. We can see it with our eyes. So you hear somebody else over here talking about it. We can read it in a book, like a Narcotics Anonymous or AA book or whatever it may be. We can read about it, but nothing compares to firsthand experience. Because now I do have that know. I know that what happens when I do that. I know who it turns me into, what it turns me into, and where it's going to take me. I know that because I've already been there. And nothing speaks higher than that right there. And I'm sure y'all have very, very similar stories where it comes to that, because you see it. If you see it on the table, it's like, nah, bro. Nah. I just remove myself from the situation, because you already know where it's going to lead. And people are either for you or they're against you. And if they for you and you say no, and they still push it on you, they ain't for you. You know what I'm saying? And it's best just going to eradicate those people out of your life. Period. I mean, I don't care whose feelings it hurts, because my mental health ain't worth it. My life ain't worth it. My freedom ain't worth it. That it ain't worth that 10-minute, 20-minute high or whatever it is. It ain't worth that, man. It just ain't.
That's right.
I got a question. So,
Yes,
before you got convicted and sent to prison, did you ever try to, quit, quit using?
No. I had it so bad that I rented a hotel room for 3 months, knocked a hole in the wall, put my drug dealer in the next room, and just passed the money through, and he would pass me the dope. I mean, yeah, it was that bad. Like I was literally trying to, I don't know, erase myself or who I was or whatever was going on up here. I was trying to erase all of that, whether I lived through it or not. I really didn't care at the time.
And you were so young. I find it that very few young people get this deal. It's like I see more people. I see a couple people in their 20s get it, but I see more people in the 30s, 40s, 50s. It more so in the 40s. It's like after they done ran the party into the ground and they have no other option, and they start hitting middle age, and now it's like it's time for them to change. But so you get in there, you're doing all this, you're starting to better yourself, getting your mind right. But you got 20 years to do. Are you coming up for parole every what? I don't know how
No. In South Carolina, there's 85. It's 85% mandatory. I mean, you have to do 85% of the sentence. So
That's what
I
it
was
is.
looking at doing 19 years, 2 months.
Okay.
Regardless. The only people that went up for parole are the nonviolent offenders. So I didn't even have that hope. Going to school, getting work credits and all that stuff did nothing for me. So I had to make my own. I made my own work credits. I made my own, so.
Wow. So you shaved off. I mean, you think 85% of a 20-year sentence is what, 17 and a half? So
It's 18 years, 2 months, 12 days.
Okay. So, and you shaved that off by what, 6 years?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, man. So tell me, so 2017 is the year I got sober. That's but that's the year you getting out of prison after doing 12 years, right?
Yeah.
So what month did you get out? What?
May
Okay.
May 2018.
Oh, 2018. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you hit? Okay, you hit the ground and what? I mean, what do you have any support? I mean,
No. I mean, I didn't. Everything that I had, I built by myself. Like, I had my own apartment when I touched down. Through the girl I was talking to at the time, I had my own car already. I had my EIN for my business. So as soon as I hit down, I opened my bank account. I started advertising on Facebook. Carpentry services. Handicap ramps. Fences, decks, and I just started by myself. And then I started building myself up little by little until I'm where I'm at now. Obviously. It took a lot, but dedication, determination, and discipline are my favorite 3 words.
right. So take us through that though. I mean, like what you get out, just take us through that experience. What was it like getting out with nothing after 12 years? I could imagine people have died while you were in. People probably don't want to talk to you.
Well, I was already prepared for that because my family had already disowned me from when I got the military. So that was already done. And I wasn't really worried about it because I knew that only I could be the downfall of me. I wouldn't let nobody else be the downfall of me. And only I could push myself forward, and that was the best way to do it and I tell a lot of my young guys that work with me and stuff like, don't set all these big goals, set 10 small goals. Like even if I'm gonna put $1 back a week. And as soon as Friday comes, you put that $1 back, give yourself a pat on the back, look in the mirror and say, good job, man. Great. You're awesome. And do the same thing every week. And then up it to $2 and up it to $10. And then give yourself a pat on the back every week and tell yourself, good job. And then eventually, before you know it, you're going to be at that big goal. And that goes with not with just saving money, but anything. I'm going to go out and get 3 jobs this week. Boom. I get 3. Good job. You did great. You're awesome. You got to promote yourself, self-promotion is one of the biggest facets to successful mental health. I mean, you got to promote yourself. You got to tell yourself you can do it. Can't, like I said, that word can't, we don't use that word.
So your wife just commented that June 1st, 2017. You got that date wrong.
Yeah, I did have it wrong. It's been a minute.
So was she the girl you was talking to?
No, she was not. I'd actually split off with her about midway through my sentence. She had I just told her I didn't even know I was getting out that early, and I wasn't about to drag her through that. And I was focused on school and education and everything else. And of course, acting a fool in prison. And I just told her to go ahead and do her own thing. And She did, and we still stayed in contact, you know, here and there. And when I came, my oldest daughter with her, I never got to meet her till she was 12, you know. And yeah, we wrote each other, like she said, you know, in the comments, you know, we wrote each other letters and everything. And but my biggest thing was I never got to meet my daughter. You know, she was born right when I went to prison, and I never got to meet her, not till she was 12 years old. And my wife was then fitting to get married to somebody else, and I was with the other girl that I've been talking to. And you know, so I ended up leaving her and getting back with my wife. We kicked her man out of the house. You know, so that's a funny story for another day. But yeah, he got the Tyrese from Too Fast, Too Furious, the ejectocito cuz.
Hey, Brooks.
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'm here.
So what's your biggest drive that drives you the most right now?
Just the fact that, you know, I look at myself, I look where I'm at, I look at my house, I look at my businesses, you know, and I look at my family, my beautiful children. You know, I got an 18-year-old, a 10-year-old stepson, and my 5-year-old daughter and my 2-year-old daughter. And, you know, they think the world of me, you know, and I missed out on everything with my 12-year-old. I didn't get to hear her first words or none of this stuff, you know, and watch her learn how to walk or any of these things. And, you know, being able to experience it with my two youngest now, you know, I would never trade that in for anything. That is my biggest drive, to make sure that my family's safe, that I'm safe, and that I can just keep building up, you know, keep building up.
Awesome.
That's really awesome.
Yeah. So y'all had 2 more kids when you got out.
We would have had 3. We had to actually terminate one at week 19 due to heart conditions.
Sorry to hear that.
So I'm gonna throw a comment up here on the screen real quick. I'm probably frozen again.
No, you're not.
You're good.
You're still.
Okay, cool. Technical issues.
There he is. There, now he's froze.
Oh, it drives me absolutely fucking crazy.
So what is like? Are you say you own 3, but you have 3 businesses? Can you tell us a little bit in
4.
detail about each one of them? 4 of them. Can you tell me a little bit in detail about each one?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So my for-profit veteran-owned construction company used to be FFHR LLC. I changed that over earlier this year to Battleborn Builders Incorporated. And the name speaks for itself. Life's a battle. You know, I may have won the war back then, but the battle still rages. You know, it doesn't rage just within me. It rages within everybody. You know, the mental health battle. And our biggest mission statement is building relations and serving purpose. You know, don't look down unless you're lifting up. Don't talk down unless you're talking up. And each one, reach one, teach one. You know, we all of my employees, we live by these three mission statements, and we try to lead by example. My second business, which would be my private nonprofit, Battleborn Brotherhood, which is comprised of several veterans like myself. We do what we call battle checks. We get other veterans' phone numbers and we'll call them and make sure they're right up top. You know, their mind's in the right spot. You know, if they need help with groceries or whatever, you know, we can make some stuff happen. If they need help getting benefits or doing other things, getting their paperwork together, we can put them in touch with the right people. And we also focus on suicide awareness and PTSD awareness within that organization as well. There's a lot of people that suffer from PTSD, and it's not military related. You know, it's not just the military that people have post-traumatic stress disorder from. You know, you got EMTs, you got police, you got firefighters, you got people, nurses, surgeons, anybody. I mean, you know, so it's no specific person that we won't help. You know,
So do you guys reach out to people in other states too?
Yes. I get calls constantly from like Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, I've helped a couple guys out in Oklahoma. We actually put together Christmas packages 2 years ago for 5 families, 3 in the United States and 2 in Canada, where families were not doing all right. And that all spun. Well, that all spun. I never knew. And it's a brief story, but I never knew what the meaning of pay it forward meant. I've always heard people say it. And a couple years ago, I had a bad year. The second half of my year was kind of bad, real slow. And my kids wasn't getting nothing for Christmas. You know, Santa Claus was dead that year. You know, it was over with. You know, I just knew that it was ruined. And out of nowhere, thousands of gifts started pouring onto my porch from this truck. It just pulled up in our cul-de-sac. And, you know, I was like, what the hell? And we finally figured out who it was. And I went to go and try and pay him back after I got myself situated. And he was like, nah, man, pay it forward. And I said, what do you mean? He said, give it to somebody else that needs it. You know, pass the blessing on. He said, I'm not worried about it. Pass the blessing on. And from that day forward, that's what I've tried to do. And I took that same money that I was going to give him, and that's how we funded those families' Christmases across the United States and Canada. And the feeling that it gave me, knowing that, you know, these people were in other states struggling like I was struggling here at home, you know, that last Christmas, you know, people were still struggling, you know, that I was able to help to alleviate some of that struggle. You know, it did wonders for up here, you know, and it opened my mind's eye to a lot more endeavors that I could take on and try to help people in other ways.
Okay. I like that.
Number 3.
Number 3 would be Welcome Home at Veteran Manor Incorporated. We try to build transitional homes for displaced veterans who are going through it, you know, homeless vets, and build tiny home communities throughout the state. I've actually teamed up with several nonprofits across the United States, Mighty Hero Homes out of Georgia and Veterans for Life Foundation, National 501(c)(3) out of California. And we're trying to put together a massive national movement to build tiny home communities for not just veterans, but also for low-income housing for people that can't afford to live out there right now.
All right. And you do that through your main construction company?
Yes.
The one okay. I got to ask before you go into this fourth one. This fourth one is very special. Because we were talking earlier about this before we came on live. How many employees do you have at your business?
Right now, 3. Right now, 3.
Do you like it? You like to keep it at that?
Well, no, pre-COVID, I was up to 19, running 3 crews across the state. And like I said, we cover North Carolina, Georgia, Virginia, and Tennessee. I really don't go into South Carolina that much. I have reasons not to. but yeah, we cover 4 states, so we travel a lot. I mean, I'm out of town a lot, you know, doing these different projects, and we do a lot of veteran rescue projects. We've been on the news several times this year alone, on national news and local news for some of the projects that we've accomplished, not just in the veteran community, but just in general. Yeah, it's not that I want to keep it small. It's reality is post-COVID, nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to work. It doesn't matter what you want to pay them. Right. Nobody wants to work. So it's hard to find good help, you know, and like me in the construction field, I'm 10 guys by myself. You know, I can do whatever task is in front of me because I don't know quit, you know, and I'll put projects together where I'm pulling people in or I'm doing it by myself, you know, to where I can make this thing happen because that's what I'm here for, is to make it happen, you know. So, yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'm small right now, but we're building back up slowly but surely, you know.
So I got another question. How bad of an impact did COVID do on everything that you built?
It almost destroyed me, literally, financially, everything. I ended up owing out almost $70K in labor. I sold my truck, I sold my show truck, I sold everything, my camper, all that stuff, and made sure I paid my guys, you know, so they were still good. And it about buried me. Like literally, I literally had to start over from scratch.
And around that time, your 2 little ones, they got to be real young, huh?
Well, my youngest one wasn't even here yet.
Okay, yeah.
You know, my 5-year-old would have been here. Yeah, my 5-year-old would have been here, but Everly wasn't here yet. Yeah, it was a struggle, dude. Like just to keep the mind where it needs to be at while you're worrying about rent and everything else, you know. So
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I got out of prison right whenever they shut down everything for COVID, so it was kind of really stressful moment at that time. That's why I asked that question.
right, for sure.
Number 4.
All right, yeah, this is my dream and my biggest ambition. My oldest daughter, like I said, I didn't get to meet her till she was 12. Right before I actually got to meet her, me and Megan were talking, and she had asked for a sample of my DNA to get tested genetically because there were questions coming up about my daughter's health. So I sent off the DNA, and it came back that I was a carrier for cardiomyopathy and muscular dystrophy. Well, my wife's also a carrier for muscular dystrophy, and my daughter got a full-blown dose of it. In fact, it's so rare, she's number 13 in the world. You know, there is no cure for it. You know, it's literally called LGMD subtype 2N.
And so
she's
how old was she when you found this out?
She was 12.
When you found out she had it? Oh, man.
Yeah, she was just about to turn 13 when we got the results back.
Oh, man. Can imagine. So what exactly does that affect? I mean, that form of it.
Well, her particular type, and my wife will probably start commenting because she's way more into the medical side than I am, but it focuses on it's a rapidified muscle deterioration disorder. So hers focuses on her extreme limbs, like her legs, her hands, you know, and some of the other extremities, like even the muscles for smiling, you know, and like eventually she's going to end up in a wheelchair. It's just a matter of it's going to happen. You know, her legs just constantly. She can't do physical therapy because, you know, as men, you know, we go to the gym, we work out to build up, we break down to build up. Well, if my daughter breaks down, it stays broke down where it's at and continues to deteriorate. You know, and it's not a positive thing in any way, shape, form, or fashion. There's no way to look at it in a positive way to try and shine light on it because even when me and my wife had gotten back together, and I was actually taking my daughter to school one morning to the bus stop. It was cold outside, and she sat and told me, she said, "Daddy, can I tell you something? You ain't gonna be mad at me." I'm like, "Yeah, what's up? Somebody fucking with you at school or something?" I was, you know, superhero immediately, ready to go mess somebody up, you know. And she was like, "No," she said, "Daddy, my legs are hurting. I can barely stand up in the morning." And I told my wife, and we immediately went to like on the rampage to find out what this was, and that's when we actually got in touch with the right neurologist and the neuroscientist and everybody, and they told us exactly what it was, you know, and that there was no cure for it, you know. And right after that, we had started Smiles Through the Pain Inc., and I call it that for a reason. It's because, and I'll break down CPK levels real quick just to explain what my daughter goes through. A CPK is the average pain level a person goes through every day, and my wife's sitting here is 15 to 131, right?
It's between 15 and 130.
Yeah, so the average person goes through the feeling of aches and pains and whatever on a daily basis of 15 to 131 on a scale. 131 being like sports injuries, you know, broken bones, you know, stuff like that.
If you get an accident, it's going to go higher.
It'll spike too. It'll go up to like 200, but it'll come back down. Well, when we got her first CPK result back, it was over 2,000. 5,000. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It was over 5,000, and I asked the doctor, and my wife was there. We were just looking at her like, what, you know, how is she sitting here smiling? And she's just like, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt for her, you know. It's normal to her. That's her normal. But now she's actually broken a record in the medical field. It was over
Her last test was
600. Yeah, her last test was 648,000.
And that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
It's probably higher now.
And I asked the doctor to explain that to me. I said, how does that work? And he was like, can't. He said,
You would be in a fetal position.
he said, well, when he told it, my wife said she'll be in a fetal position, but literally, he told me that it was if he crushed every bone in my body, stuffed me in a bag, and threw me down a hill, that's probably what it would feel like.
God.
You know, and so that's what my daughter goes through on a day-to-day basis, and she doesn't comprehend this. Like, she's 18, but she comprehends on a 3rd or 4th grade level.
Another example you can give
You know,
is
it messes with her brain because that's a muscle too.
it's picking up a gallon of milk.
Yeah.
That's not heavy for us.
And so
Mopping
the
the floor is not heavy to us, but to her it is.
and it's called Smiles Through Pain. Is that like a .com, or how can someone look
It's
this up?
it's a 501(c). They can look it up mainly on Facebook. We don't have a website or anything. Actually, ended up shutting it down for a while due to some negative feedback I was getting from the university. We were actually raising money to send Iowa State University funding to open a genetics research facility to find a cure. And then our new administration and government shut it down. And it kind of just slowed down after that. Nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to promote it. And I'm trying to, there's not enough people that have been diagnosed. They're out there. They just ain't been diagnosed. There are not enough people that's been diagnosed that they want to take it serious. Like I had a guy at Sarepta up in New Jersey literally tell me, because he had over 50,000 square feet of space that could have been used for research. I told him what was going on with my daughter, what type she had, and he said that don't worry, it'll die out when she dies. There's only 13 of them.
So there's different types
Yeah,
of it.
like
That's what makes it rare.
her subtype makes it so rare that it's not even on the table yet. Like that they'll do what is it? Subtype 2A and 2B.
Yeah,
like those are the most popular. Duchenne's, you know, they're popular, so they're working on those. But nobody's getting tested, and a lot of people don't even know that they can get tested through Invitae or any of these other organizations for free. You know, like these are things that people should know. You know, you're going to go have a child, bring a child into this world, you know, and
every pregnant woman can get genetic testing for free.
That's
All
correct.
she has to do is ask for it.
Yep, any pregnant woman can get it for free. All she has to do is
can her
ask for it,
spouse.
and so can her
So
spouse.
All she has to
Can
do
I
is
ask you, you know, going through trials like
and
that,
it's not just a simple genetic test. You want in-depth genetics.
where do you draw your strength from? Where do you draw your, you know?
I draw it from my daughter, my oldest daughter. You know, because granted she doesn't comprehend the same way we do. It's like when we came back from that doctor's appointment, I sat her down at the kitchen table. I said, "Baby, go ride your bike. You know, play basketball, do something. You know, because you're not going to be able to do it one day." And I said, "One day you're going to be in a wheelchair." And she just smiled at me and said, "Okay, Daddy." You know, and for her to have to wake up every day knowing that one day she might wake up and not be able to ever do that again, you know, it gives me motivation to keep pushing forward. Because it don't matter how bad I hurt, I could work a 16-hour day, and I know I got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning because that's my responsibility. Well, I've made it her responsibility to get up every morning and go walk her dog and do this, that, and the third, because one day she's not going to be able to do that, you know. And it's a struggle to watch her go through it as a father, and it's also a blessing. It's also a blessing because
I got 3 daughters, man. I couldn't imagine.
It's a hardship and a blessing. It's a blessing that she doesn't comprehend what she's going through, you know, because if she actually did, like on our level of intellect, you know, and intelligence, you know, that's a suicide patient waiting to happen. You know, I mean, just being real about it. You know, because me personally, I couldn't fathom a doctor telling me, "Hey, you might wake up tomorrow, you might not, your legs won't work." I wouldn't even be able to go to sleep.
Shout out Matt Swanson. It's a really good internet friend of mine. He said I couldn't imagine living knowing that. He said don't ever give up.
No, I'll never give up on her, and that's why I named my organization Smiles to the Pain, because that's what she does. She smiles. She lights the room up everywhere she goes. You know how she does it, I don't know, and I don't question it, but I know she does. You know, and that's my motivation. If she can smile through that crap right there, and what she's going through, then I can smile through anything. You know. I can make it through anything.
You're right. Man, this is good. So you go from being a cokehead to doing armed robberies to really finding yourself after getting hit with a 20-year sentence, knocking your sentence down to 12 years because y'all South Carolina is just like Oklahoma. Violent charges here are 85% also. Uh,
Right.
and that means you ain't getting paroled or nothing until you hit 85%. So you knock it down to 12 years, get out, are reintroduced to your daughter. I'm assuming that was your first time seeing her at 12, right?
Yeah, I popped out of a empty box.
Yeah.
First time
So
she
I
ever seen
mean,
me, yeah.
you touch down, and all you have is these goals and these dreams, you know.
Right.
And would you say you're living that today?
Absolutely.
7 years later, you're man. I mean that's really fast to have 4 businesses and be doing the things that you're doing and almost getting wiped out during COVID. That's I mean, bro, that's if that ain't encouraging and also knowing what your daughter's going through, I mean, that should encourage a lot of us to stop crying. There's a lot of people playing victim, especially on the internet, and man, just look at what someone else is going through. They're going through something way worse, and it'll just you know that should be motivation to get your ass up and do something.
Right.
That's my opinion.
For
But
sure.
no, I'm just saying that's very your story is very encouraging, man. I'm glad you came on. So what I gotta ask you? Oh, did y'all have that question ready for him too? I know we
Yep.
still got a little time, but did you tell him beforehand?
Yes, I did. And he's got it. He's got it right there.
Oh yeah. I'm sure he knows. Okay, go ahead.
The answer to that question is the ability to think. The ability to think, and I'm gonna use this as an example. I tell my clients, I tell everybody, my friends, new friends, everybody, that I'm a convicted felon, this, that, and third. And I tell my story, and I always tell people that going to prison, using and going to prison doesn't define who I am as a man. All it defines is at the time I didn't know how to think.
Amen.
I didn't know how to think for myself, and to be able to actually think and analyze and put situations together, or when situations come at me and I can dissect the situation and I can either refute it or I can embrace it, to be able to make the right decision through positive and conceptive thoughts is the ability that I think that I've actually gained from all of this.
That's good. That's deep. Love it. What's your plans for the future?
Well,
Where does Stephan Sharar see himself in 10 years?
almost 50. Oh man, no. Honestly, I don't know, and that's an honest answer. I try not to think about it. I focus on the here, the now, and what I can do. I call it controlling the controllable, because I can't control when my time is and what's going to happen tomorrow. So I know that my future is every second that I'm still speaking right now, and for every second I'm still speaking, I'm just being grateful that I'm still here, and that I have caught myself, and corrected myself over the years and turned myself into who I am. Today, I'm very grateful for the person that I am. I'm very happy with the person that I am. And as long as I'm still that person a second from now and a second from now and a second from now, then that's where I want to be at.
What's your faith like?
It's there. I do believe in God. I do believe in a creator. I don't go to church. I believe that, as the Bible says, our bodies are the church, and we have to lead by example. And if you are walking the walk and you're talking the talk, then your words are actually manifested by actions. Then there's nothing better you can do in this world.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Brooks, are you froze?
I don't think so. Probably though. There's no telling. I already asked him before we went on air what his
There he
question
is.
was. Can you hear me? Am I breaking up real bad?
No, you're good. I can hear you, brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. Are you messing? Okay. Yeah. So I already asked him before
There he goes. There he goes.
we went on. Can I answer it?
Okay.
You froze up.
So I think he was asking you about what do you want to let us know what your question is for the next guest?
Yeah. Yeah. How do you control your controllables?
Okay. You writing that down?
I already wrote it down.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to shout out everyone that commented. Megan, both Megans, his wife, and I'll say our Megan. Hi, Jossie, Chad Tiger, Jared. What's up, Jared? Snowbird, Herrera. She didn't really leave a comment, but hi, Jossie, Amanda Badger. Amanda Badger said, please don't ever stop putting this content out. Y'all are saving lives out here. Rock, what up, bro? He said, good content. Chad Smith, keep your mind right and get a good, healthy hobby. Good, those are good. Pierce, Jennifer Jen Hutchinson, Jason Kraft. Jason Kraft's been following along this whole time. Shout out Jason Kraft. And Matt Swanson. He has some encouraging things to say when you start talking about your daughter. Man, I just want to thank everyone for hopping on here and, and thank you, Stephen, man, for coming on here and sharing your story, bro. For real.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's, we get a lot of people, like, it's never, yours is unique. And the way, how much help you do for vets, I think is amazing. And I think a lot of people neglect that, So I just want to say thank you, bro, for everything you're doing. And what's your daughter's name? Your oldest, Michaela. And whoever's watching, please send up a prayer for Michaela. And, Brooks? Is he there? Okay.
Am I frozen?
No, you're good. Anybody else got anything to say?
No, it's really good, man. I really appreciate you sharing your testimony, dude. It's very powerful. And yeah, I mean,
he's got to fix that.
you've got political context, man. Contact those people about. Am I frozen? Yeah, I'm gonna fix it as soon as I get off here. So
yeah,
don't worry. What I just said was epic, but don't. It's yeah,
suspense.
It was epic, I promise
suspense.
You.
That's funny. Today is a milestone for me. Actually, today is my 2 years of being out of prison.
Nice. This was up.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
You got
out. You got anything?
22.
I went to prison. I was only out 5 months and then went right back.
Oh, okay. Because I remember you saying you got out during COVID. Golly. Hey, that was me, bro. I'd get out and I wouldn't last a year. I'd go right back. Get out, 12 months, go right back. So what he was saying about the recidivism rate is true. It's like you do, and when you're one of those guys, like I did about 8.5 years, but I did it 3 different times. You know what I'm saying? I did like 3 here, 2.5 here, and you get in there, you see them old timers. They're like, "Where you bet?" And they do. They're like, man, when am I gonna get my shot?
Right.
But it's crazy, man. I get it takes what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And I believe, like you said, I believe in God. I believe God knows what it's gonna take for that individual.
Yeah. Man, it's been a blessing. It's really awesome speaking to you, Stephen. Really is. And I'm gonna pray for your daughter for real.
Thank you.
Everyone set up a prayer for Michaela.
For sure.
And shout out Mel Ray. Okay, yeah, we're gonna guys, we're gonna message Mel Ray. Next week we will not be doing an episode. Brooks, you got a show, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we will be back on here the 29th, Chris?
29th.
The 29th.
We might hop on here randomly
I think
and
we
talk
should.
some we'll just talk about, what controversial subjects.
I've got an idea for the next one.
Bro, it got real. Did you see the Sobriety Network group chat? It got
well, I was
real.
the one. I sent you a
bro.
screenshot of that. You remember that?
Yeah, I was reading the comments, and it was like,
I didn't.
Oh, I did. I grabbed some popcorn. Bro, it showed me that 90% of the people on that damn group are on some kind of drug. I mean, they were, you know what I'm saying? They smoking weed, popping tobacco, whatever, and they get mad when someone calls them out.
It's not. Yeah. Yeah. So again, we'll go live and then we can discuss that. Kind of leave it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really good discussion.
Yeah.
I also had another good discussion. I'll talk to you about later. I think you might like it.
Well, I mean, my discussion is, I think we should title the next one. I know, Stephen, if you want to help us out with this, we're gonna hop on some time. But I'm talking about like, give us some ideas, But I was thinking like, what is sober? How about that? Kind of like what Matt Walsh did with "What Is a Woman?" What is sober?
That'd be a good one.
A person could say he smokes crack and his
but he don't drink.
But he don't drink anymore, and that's it. And he's sober. and if you call him out for smoking crack, he's gonna get pissed off because he's gonna say, "Well, that's my journey. This is my sobriety. How are you gonna?" So it's like, man, what do we call sober? What is sober? That's a good title.
I've got my definition.
That's a good title.
I was thinking like another one too, just like that's a good one. I was thinking of what's the craziest thing that you've done, like for your fix.
Oh man.
I just want to see what some people say. like what, robbed an old lady, stole your grandma's purse. But I'm just saying. So.
Rob Taco Bell for some tacos and cash. I mean,
all right, man. Let's play that end music, bro. Let's wrap it up.
Okay, let me say one thing to the viewers right before you do that.
There we go.
Let me say one thing to the viewers before, and I say this to everybody that I deal with in the mental health world, suicide, PTSD, all that. Always remember, tomorrow needs you. Always remember, tomorrow needs you. You may not know what the reason is, but that doesn't matter right now at this very second because it'll manifest itself when the time comes. Just remember, tomorrow needs you.
Nice. Amen.
Very good.
Tomorrow needs you. That's right, guys.
All right. That's good, man. I appreciate you, Stephen. Thank you.
Walk around, sit down chair.
Production. Been around the block. Been around the block.